I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out on the road.
My shirt's untucked. I can't help but sing Neil Young.
No.
Neil Diamond was the guy in leather pants that sang 3 notes, right?
Maybe.
We're coming to America. Those are the only notes he could sing.
Where's the Hawaiian
Sweet
shirt?
Caroline.
Where's the Hawaiian shirt?
Well, that would be if I were singing Jimmy Buffett.
I got the limes.
And who knows what else in that 50-gallon drum? I'm just drinking coffee.
Put the booze in the blender.
And soon it will render that frozen concoction that helps me hang on. When I was a kid, that was the Welch's Grape Popsicles. That was the frozen concoction that helped us hang on.
Yeah.
Marvelous popsicles.
Those were pretty good.
My longevity coffee out of my Martin & Company coffee mug.
Do you have a vacation coming up? Or do you got continuing ed coming up?
I do have some continuing ed coming up. I don't know if it's going to be virtual or in person yet. If it's in person, I've got to beat feet to Orlando. If it's virtual, I'm hanging out here.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Welcome to Chat with the Docs. We've already wasted 2 minutes of your time. And I'm sorry. But that's the price you must pay. No, this is your chance to get your questions answered by 2 live on the ropes healthcare practitioners, licensed healthcare practitioners.
Yep.
We're not even like.
That's why we have to do continuing ed
That's
to keep us licensed. Yeah. I'm doing some on Friday and Saturday, so 'tis the time.
Yo-yos? Learning to walk the dog with a yo-yo?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man.
Just getting the hours in.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah.
If you want to be part of the show, call us at 608-314-8791. We have the Bo Snerdley of internet call screeners, also known as Carrie, waiting to answer your call. And this week we actually have a conundrum this week.
Beautiful.
We have success stories of the week. We have questions that people have sent in. But if you have a question that you would like an answer to, give us a call, 608-314-8791, and we can answer it. And yes, I did get a haircut, which is why I look less like a Muppet this week. I still sound like a Muppet, but I look less like a Muppet.
You look good. I don't like the scruffy beard. I like it a little bit more clean cut like it is now.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I was so scruffy. I know why I was so scruffy. I couldn't get to my barber. Okay. Let's start things off on a good note.
Get the guitar.
See, I just replaced the E string. Let's see if it held. Nope. Little Groucho Marx influence there. Cleaned up, though, nicely. It's a mighty pretty guitar. If you're new to the show, it's always like this. Mm-hmm. We're always a little bit offbeat, weird, but it makes the information more palatable.
Yeah.
At least that's what we're told. We actually have someone that says that this week. Ruby from Delafield, thank you. I question your taste, but thank you. So, what's your success story this week?
My success story this week is I had a patient come in with MS, and there's some other symptoms, and I actually referred them to you. So they'll be touching base with you soon. But it was before the holiday weekend. They came in, had a lot of pain in the lower back, and had also a lot of dizziness with that. So one time, and then they drove out of state to see family. They came back and they said it helped them a lot, and they've been in pain for a while. And That was, I don't know, that's just cool when it's something like that, because there was just a lot of symptoms that went with that.
Yeah.
And then there's some other stuff too that I think you'll be able to assist the rest of the way.
Cool. I look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So yeah, I don't know. I've had a few cases of MS like through the years, but they seem to do very well with natural care.
They do. It's not that you're going to reverse it, but you're going to slow things way down.
Mm-hmm. And if they can get some relief of symptoms or any of that, that's cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
I had a lady who, because of the holiday weekend, her family was coming over, and her grandkids were coming, and they really weren't that excited about it because, grandma can't do much with them anyway. But after a couple of treatments, this lady was able to throw a football around with her grandkids, interact with them, blew everybody's mind, blew her own mind. And when she came in Monday, she wasn't a train wreck. She was praising God, and she was so thankful. Had another fellow who, severe back injury, could hardly move, very chronic, dealing with the VA and everything else. Put him on the table on Friday afternoon, and came off the table, and he didn't have pain in his low back anymore.
Excellent.
So, as a practitioner, these are the things that you feed on. These are the things that keep you going. Not everyone's a home run, but boy, you sure take the home runs when you can swing them.
Definitely, that makes a good day.
It does. And it's also fun when you can take a patient who they struggled for so long with something, and you had an idea of what the problem was, but you didn't know how to address it. You go out, you get the continuing ed, you find something that's going to teach you to connect the dots.
Yeah.
You do that, you help them, and then you use that same information to help 15, 20 other people. And then that person comes back in for a tune-up a year later, and you say, hey, do you remember? Well, guess what? Because of what you taught me, I've been able to help so many other people.
Mm-hmm.
The person started crying. Because for them, it had been hell on earth, and it was now worth it to have gone through it. Because they realized that it was used to be a blessing to so many other people. So, as a practitioner, we are not just basing everything that we do on what we know. When we run into a brick wall, we don't just say, refer you out.
And keep trying other things.
We're
things.
Digging, we're looking, we're studying.
Continue again.
We're praying about it.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to find an answer. And when we find that answer, that's when we bring it back to the clinic and we plug it in. We're actually looking into something to bring in later in the spring just because of that, because I've got a couple of patients who've hit a wall and I can't seem to get them past that wall. I'm looking at microcurrent therapy to bring in for them. And the equipment's uber expensive. But if it works, and everybody I've spoken to, it should work just fine. When it works, it'll be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes these conferences that we have to go to, these classes that we have to take, it makes them worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if all you're doing is meeting the minimum requirements for state licensing, who cares about that? Who wants that? I don't have the attention span for that. I don't have the attention span for many things, including tying my own shoes, which is why I wear boots.
Oh, me too,
I gotta tie my shoes. Ooh, shiny object. Genetics are a cruel thing. Erlene in Omaha. That's the second Erlene that we've had.
Is it really? Did we answer Ruby's question?
We'll get to Ruby.
Oh, okay.
We'll save the best for last.
Okay.
If you want to be part of the show, call us at 608-314-8791. Erlene in Omaha. Is chiropractic only for treating pain? I know that acupuncture can treat all kinds of things like digestion and hormones, but does chiropractic work for that as well? I'm thinking about adding it to my care. Go!
It does. It's not just for pain relief. People come in for preventative maintenance, wellness care. And it's not always, sometimes you don't always have pain when you get a problem. Pain is usually more at the tail end.
Would you say that chiropractic is more of a neurostructural medicine?
With the nerves, yeah.
So if it's a neurostructural medicine, you can treat anything, most anything structural, and anything that the nervous system touches, right?
Yeah. So everything. Just like acupuncture.
Acupuncture is a neurovascular medicine. So anything that there's blood or neurological input going
everything.
To. That's the whole body. So why not use them together? Why not combine them together? You get two practitioners that work very well together, a chiro and a acu. You've got a wonderful team there.
Yeah.
Then you throw in, I don't know, some clowns in a car, maybe some flame swallowers, somebody riding bareback on a horse while oh wait, no, that's Ringling Brothers.
That's a cool thing with there though too.
No, you bring these two practices together, and now you've got something that's going to have a huge impact.
Covering all the bases.
Yes. And you can treat psycho-emotional stuff. You can treat arrhythmias of the heart. You can... Wasn't that a Cyndi Lauper song? Arrhythmia of the Heart? Back in the late 80s?
I know Cyndi Lauper. She was different.
Well, most every entertainer back in the late 80s was different.
She's got some good stuff, but I don't know what that one.
What was that? No, that was Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yep.
Was that Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah.
I remember junior high,
Yeah,
8th grade, going to the dance. I was the president of the student council. And
you probably ran for that. You roll your eyes.
I did run for it.
Yeah.
I took it as a challenge.
How many people ran against you?
There were like 6 or 7 of us.
That's pretty good then.
Not really. I just let everyone else do their speeches first, and then I did my speech last, got everyone worked up, and I won. Because they voted right then. Had they time to think about it, they'd say, that kid's a dork. But I remember going to the dances in 8th grade, and they would play that. And I hear that song today, and I think, oh, junior high dances. Total eclipse. I've been to the desert on a horse with no name.
Hey, no, you're not allowed to sing that.
That's right, the Horses Union. Sorry, Teamsters. Not that Teamsters, not the Hoffa Teamsters, the other Teamsters. The Mr. Head Teamsters Union. By the way, has anyone seen Mr. Head lately? I think he's missing, just like Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
It's funny how the two Teamsters unions go parallel. Yeah, he ended up in a glue factory in Mississippi. Roberto Bianco, the most romantic voice of our time. Roberto from Delavan. This is a good question.
Okay. What is a good multivitamin to take for just regular health? I would say orthomolecular alpha base.
Okay.
Depends if you want iron or not. So you got those options. What do you like?
Food.
Food's good too.
Food, Roberto.
He was asking for a multivitamin though.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of multivitamins.
No.
I
feel good when I take them.
If you're not getting what you need from your food, something's wrong with digestion. Let me say that again, just a moment while I converse with. If you're not getting what you need from your food, something's wrong. either with your diet or your digestion.
Probably both.
We have connection. So I would say, orthomolecular alpha base, it's a good product. But I would say get your hands on some good raw bee pollen. Start eating a couple tablespoons of raw bee pollen a day. Get yourself some good kimchi. Eat a balanced diet. Eat a third of your plate good, clean red meat. A third of it in a complex carbohydrate starch. A third of it in dark green leafy vegetables. Lots of good water. You shouldn't have a problem. If you're still having a problem, then we've got to take a look at what's going on constitutionally. I don't mean Supreme Court. The whole thing's messed up to begin with. I mean, what's going on with your Constitution? Are there... I'm so tempted to make a partisan politics joke. Are there parasites going on? Is Congress in session? What's going on with your body that you're having? That is a huge water jug.
Thank you, Nikki.
I mean, that's the size of your torso.
It's like the length of my leg.
That's almost as big as your femur.
It's a gallon.
Admitting you have a problem is the first step to recovery.
But I'm so hydrated.
Hi, my name's Mo. I got a drinking problem. Not as bad as yours, but
There's like 100 lives in here.
Right. I saw you bring that backpack full of juniper berries in here.
I'll make them while you're gone.
So that's what you're doing in this wash sink downstairs.
Doesn't it smell like a forest?
Someone just said that there were olives on the table down there. So Roberto, if you want to take a multivitamin, I would say look at something from orthomolecular brands. Alpha Base is good. Do not. We got to look him in the eye. Lean forward. Get stern. Do not go to Walgreens.
No, don't do that.
Do not go to Walmart. Do not even try to be hip and trendy and go to Target.
Or Amazon.
Do not go to Amazon. You need something quality. What's the problem with the cheap ones?
It's filled with cheap stuff.
And its bioavailability is next to nothing. Just goes right through you. It ain't worth it. You're wasting your money.
Nope.
You'd be better off
Get the real stuff.
getting good food. My violin teacher when I was 5, she was a lady from Belgium that had married a guy from Cuba who was high up in the Batista administration. And when Cuba fell, they fled on one of the last flights out of Cuba. And he became a federal judge in Helena, Montana. And she played in the symphony there in Helena. And Mrs. Morales was her name. Beautiful lady, incredible people. But she used to say, "You eat good food, you don't get sick," in that thick Belgian accent. And I always felt like I was getting scolded when I'd have a cold. But she was right. You eat good quality food, you're not going to get sick as much.
Mm-hmm.
You eat good quality food, you're going to feel better. You're going to have fuel to burn.
Yeah.
Not like Congress who thinks they have money to burn. You're going to actually have fuel to burn. Nothing burns faster than money. Did you know that?
Yeah, burns a hole in your pocket for some.
Even if you don't have it, Senator. I always wanted to have a mule.
Yeah.
Actually, a donkey. I wanted a donkey.
I know somebody else that wants
And
one.
I wanted to name him Senator.
Yeah. They're expensive, though.
They are. But
Why
can you
is that?
imagine a male donkey, named Senator? It would be so fitting.
Only they didn't cost so much.
I know it. You can get a burro, though, from the tip trainers, the guys that go and they'll get them from the BLM auctions, the wild burros.
Oh.
And you can get them pretty cheap.
They're probably pretty wild, though, I'm guessing.
Not if they've gone through a tip program. Then they're
Then they're okay.
conditioned to be around
Is that
people, and
Montana or is that in Wisconsin?
that's all over the place.
Really
Yeah. Go on Facebook and look up tip trainers, TIP training,
cool.
or wild Mustang. And someday when I get land, I want a burro and a Mustang. Not to ride them, just
Enjoy them.
just to enjoy them. They're incredible creatures. How's that for a rant and a side
So it's okay. I know
track?
somebody in the market.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I happen to know one that fell off a truck. No.
Is it a full grown or a miniature?
On grounds that it. No, never mind. Kyle in Mequon. We're getting out there.
Yeah, that is out there.
Omaha, Mequon.
Delafield.
Kyle in Mequon. I don't have diabetes and never had cancer, but my hands and feet are going numb and tingling. All of my blood work is normal, but my doctor wants to put me on gabapentin.
For nerve pain.
No kidding. He won't give me an MRI and said that he would consider it if it were only my hands or feet, but because it's both, he thinks the MRI won't show anything. Is this right, or should I find a second opinion?
That's odd.
Go for the second opinion.
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody's already invested in a diagnosis. Go for a second opinion. Somebody needs to be looking for some spinal lesions, some brain lesions.
Because gabapentin would be for the nerve pain, but that's just kind of
It's kind of weird.
distracting from what's going on.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have an answer.
I would
Besides that he knows
say
it's not diabetic or cancer.
talk to somebody that can do a physical assessment, a structural assessment, make sure it's just not some nerve impingement. Because how many times have you seen that presentation where it was in the hands and feet?
It happens.
And it's because there's nerve impingement up here and down in the sacrum.
Mhm.
And
We talk about that quite often.
yeah, what you do to one end, you got to do to the other. It's kind of like an equation. If you're going to treat one side of the spine, you're going to end up treating the other. So if there's damage on one side of the spine, there's going to be damage on the other. Kyle, you might have been a cop wearing a Sam Brown belt for years, and your sacrum and low back is shot. Well, that could also cause problems up here as well. I would have that checked out. That's where I would begin. And then if treatment for
Isn't helping.
nerve impingement isn't
Then
helping,
you do MRI.
then find a new doc. That's
Well, he's already finding a new doc if he's going the other route. But,
true. But then find somebody that can get you an MRI.
Yeah. I can order them.
You can?
Yeah.
They won't even let me spell it. Not in this state.
They're just expensive, but
Yeah.
usually like imaging centers are the way to go.
So Kyle, give us a call, 314-8791. Get an appointment with this lady. How would Shakespeare put it?
I don't know, I'm not very Shakespearean.
Get thee to the Margaleski. How was that?
Perfect. You
The next King
right,
Lear?
too.
The next King Lear?
I think so.
Wow-wee!
Take you to the Margaleski. I like it. All right.
That should be your new advertising.
Take you to the Margaleski. Can I wear a crown?
You get some creepy dude with long Tudor type hair and tights and ruffles.
No
And
tights.
he can be holding a skull. To be or not to be, that is the question. And then he goes into what you do, and then he looks at the camera and says, "Get thee to a Margaleski." I can't even say it with a straight face.
As long as I get to wear a crown during the deal, then I'm okay with it.
Go for it. We can stop at Burger King.
Perfect.
We're low budget.
Perfect. I'm gonna wear it around the clinic today. Like, is it your birthday? No.
Now this is interesting because we just had somebody who is asking about a second opinion, and now we have Denise and Madison.
Denise.
Denise. Denise. How would you pronounce that?
My mother's name is Denise, so I like to joke.
Al in Madison. I told you they won't let me spell MRI, right?
You know a funny one? Ain't no need for the police when you're rolling with Denise.
Doom, 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 doom.
Okay.
Do you know what they call it when a bunch of crows stick together?
Cackle. No, murder?
Well, that would be the group term for them, but the actual verb for how they're stuck together. Velcro.
Is that on that calendar?
No, thank you, Jim.
That is a good one. I didn't know it at least, though, because I was like, hey, it's a murder of crows.
A crash of rhinoceri, a murder of crows. What would it be? A serendipitousness of squid? I don't know.
Ferrets are a funny one, too, I want to say.
Ferrets are funny.
They got a funny one, but I can't think of what
Every
it is.
time you go to a hotel that's having an insurance adjusters convention, it's a bunch of ferrets together.
Yeah. Anyways, back to be nice. My doctor wanted to do surgery on my shoulder for rotator cuff tear. When I asked for a referral for a second opinion, he got really upset at me and told me I didn't need a second opinion. Now I feel bad for questioning him, but I still think I should get a second opinion. What should I do?
I had a patient
What
with
would
the
you do?
same thing this last week.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago. Same situation.
It's not a bad thing when you're about to have surgery. You can't go back from that.
Yeah. And for this other patient, it was she went out to the nurse to get rescheduled, and she says, is there somebody that you might suggest that I could go to for a second opinion? And the nurse got all upset. Well, why would you need that? And now we're seeing it here.
Mm-hmm.
These things come in threes. Look out! Getting a second opinion isn't a bad thing.
No. Especially when it's going to be life-changing for
Yeah.
a procedure.
You're talking
Like
a permanent type thing.
A shoulder surgery, yeah.
Do you get ticked off if you come up with a diagnosis and someone says, okay, that's interesting. It's kind of a big deal. Can I talk with somebody else and come back to you?
Definitely.
I don't get ticked off about that. It's a wise thing to do. What are all of us jerks in white coats anyway? Until we're doing an actual medical procedure, what are we doing?
We're consultants.
We're consultants.
Yep.
What is a consultant? Someone with an opinion. And you know what an opinion is. It's an educated opinion. Some are better than others. Some are more accurate than others. But we're just consultants. So
some patients like it when they go to their doctor and they don't tell you. And then they ask you the same thing and you say about the same thing. They're like, that's what the other doctor said too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They almost sound like bummed out sometimes too. They're like, oh, that's about what they said too. And I'm like, well, that's good. At least we're consistent.
Some of our patients that we share will do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have me take the pulse and they'll be, as you're taking the pulse, and they'll say, what'd you feel? So I'll tell them and they'll say, oh, Dr. Noel said the same thing.
Right, they're all bummed out. Like, it's like a game for them. They're hoping they're going to get different answers. Who's got the better answer for me? More favorable.
I'm sorry, you're a wreck.
And then you go, feels like you're gonna win the lottery. You're like, Mo, we're going to you. I like that answer.
I love it when someone will say, what's my pulse say? And I'll be taking their pulse and I'll say, stay away from 7-Eleven hot dogs.
Pretty much.
Are you ready for the conundrum?
Yes.
We don't have the answer for last week's because we didn't get to last week's.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do the conundrum this week, and we'll have the answer next time.
Mm-hmm.
This week's conundrum.
You read it?
Sure.
Eddie was desperate. His back had been...
No. You're better than this. You can read it with more drama. How would Betty Grable say this?
Hold on. body was desperate. His back had been a nagging pain for years, and he was now at the end of his rope. He was
Dun, dun,
tired.
dun.
To top it off, his knees were now aching at night. He was waking up several times at night, wringing wet of sweat. Oh no. After years of hearing his wife talk about her hybrid chiropractor acupuncturist, he decided to give it a try.
Ooh, a hybrid.
I think that's what it was. And booked his appointment.
Is my typing that messy?
And booked his appointment for an assessment and treatment at Doc Pugglesworth Emporium of Alternative Medicine. Dr. Pugglesworth was known to his patients, who may not have been associated in criminal underworld, as the Pug.
Dun dun dun.
Examined Eddie and began to treat his particular organ system. What was it?
Ooh. Ooh. Very good. Not Academy Award worthy, but definitely Daytime Emmy worthy.
Yes.
Now you've got to do the long, lingering look at the camera. Yes. This
Can't
is
wait to
why
get
we're
my
on at
trophy.
lunchtime.
Wait to get my trophy.
If you think you know the answer, John I from Iowa, if you think you know the answer, write it on the back of a 1982 Gibson Custom Les Paul in the sunburst finish and send it to us at the Conundrum, care of Siloam Center, 839 Harding Street, Jamesburg, Wisconsin. You can say Berg. You got the zip code. It'll get close. 53545. And if you're too cheap to put it on the back of a 1982 Gibson Custom Les Paul, then just, call in 608-314-8791. Write it on the back of a gum wrapper, whatever you want to do. Send your answer in.
You know what would be kind of cool? Maybe on the back of a CD. And then we could open
A CD?
Yeah.
A
Open the
CD of
show.
what?
some kind of music.
That's very specific.
And then we can play it on the intro for the person that has the correct answer. And only they will know right from the get that they got it right.
That's cool. That's cool. That's very cool. Send us a CD of Oh Those Neighbors. Talk about digestive complaint. Wow! That's what a quick drip diet will give you, kids. Send it on the back of a CD with your favorite song, and we'll play a clip of it at the beginning, and hopefully YouTube won't shut us down. It's not like they're going to demonetizing us will do anything. Because we've got, 4 subscribers? Anyway.
Summertime's coming up. Jimmy Buffett.
Cheeseburger in paradise? Heaven on earth and it is an onion slice. Let us know. If you think you know the answer, let us know.
On to the next one.
On to the next one.
Calvin from Rockford, Illinois.
We're getting quite a few from Rockford.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin, can I call you Cal? Calvin, with a C, not a K. I've known people spell it both. Calvin from Rockford, Ill. I get a lot of heart palpitations. My doctor says it's anxiety, and he put me on anti-anxiety pills. It's not helping with the palpitations, and now I'm starting to have pains in my chest. He said it was angina pain and is giving me a pill for that now. He gave me a Tenolol, and now I'm really tired and dizzy. I don't know if I want to tell him that because I know he's just going to give me another. I'm sorry to laugh. He's just going to give me another pill. Any suggestions? That's kind of how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin, are you on any statin drugs? Are you on any diabetes drugs? What kind of medications are you on? We're not allowed, I'm not allowed to touch anyone's meds.
I am not either.
But
Only the prescribing doctor is supposed to
That's
put
right.
you on or take you off.
but I would say if they put you on anti-anxiety medication for the palpitations, it's not a heart deal. Otherwise, they would have gone directly there. Atenolol is pretty common for angina pain, but if you're starting to have angina pain, it means that the anxiety is not being managed well. And you can have it being managed up here, but cellularly in the body, the anxiety isn't being poorly managed, which is what it kind of sounds like is happening. And, the fatigue and the dizziness, it's pretty common with atenolol. That happens. Well, I shouldn't say it's common, but it can happen with atenolol. Any suggestions? Yes.
Come see you.
Come see one of us. We talked about how chiropractic can treat psycho-emotional stuff. It can treat the nerve innervations to the
Fight or
chest.
flight.
Acupuncture, we can get you out of fight or flight within just a few needles. We've got Chinese herbs. We've got tools to use to help you manage these symptoms and start causing your body to fix the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of tools to help you. We can't take you on your medications. We can't take you off of them. We can't adjust them, but we can get you to the point where you don't need them, and you can tell your doc.
And they'll see it, and they'll be like, "What did you do?"
And you'll say,
Well, I saw Dr. Margolesky. Some guy in a Shakespearean outfit said, get thee to a Margolesky. I did. And lo and behold, I'm healed.
and the doc's going to say, you're a coincidence.
Lo and behold, coincidence.
How many times does that happen? Over and over.
Yep.
Doc, do you think the acupuncture helped my headaches?
No.
Yeah.
You've been treating me for years. Did it help it?
No.
It's whatever. We expect it.
It's a good thing we had such rough junior high years. Otherwise, this would hurt. This rejection would hurt.
Right?
But we've learned not to care what the cool kids say.
No.
I could go for one of those Welch's grape juice popsicles.
I know. I could too, because they're concentrated and they're really sweet. Do they even make them anymore?
I don't think so. I think they cause too much diabetes. Every Friday in my grade school, when I was in second grade, they would go around and they would sell ice cream bars and the Welch's grape juice popsicles.
Isn't those popsicles? They were like in like a cone kind of shape, like it was almost like a triangle, and then you push it up and it was more on the top. There were some like that.
There
too.
were some like that, but these
You
were
know
on a
ones I
stick,
mean?
but they were a singular,
Okay.
kind of like those fruit bars now.
Yeah.
That was very rare because the only popsicles you had were the 2-stick things that you
Yeah.
break.
Those are stupid.
You could buy those from the teachers on Fridays. I think that's how they bought their coffee fund or something. There's coffee and cigarettes. Because back then, that's what the teacher's lounge smelled like. That's what the playground monitor smelled like, too.
Sounds like a good time.
Whee! Back when they could smack a student.
Some of us needed it.
Ah, the 80s. I miss them.
I needed it.
I forgot what we were talking about. Let's go to Ruby. Ruby, we saved you for last, dear heart. Ruby in Delafield.
Yep.
You want to read that? That's just really cool.
I love your show.
She's one of the 8 viewers.
Thanks for putting it out there. You guys are very informative, but so funny too, and it makes the information easier to get. Thank you. What are some questions you would suggest that we ask if we are looking for a practitioner in our area?
Well, let's do a top 10. We haven't discussed this because we were both dealing with patients before. But let's do a top 10. Number 10,
Oh, we're counting down.
Let's count down.
Okay.
Number 10.
How far are you away from us, anyways?
How far are you from Jamesburg? How far is Delafield?
Probably not that bad.
Number 9. How often do you treat this?
Mhm.
Number 8.
How good of a practitioner, look-wise, do you want? Because we're right here.
Number 7. How good are you at counting down from 10? That's the question for the practitioner.
Yeah. Did they take their shoes off?
Number 6. How many modalities does the practitioner practice? Is it merely only Zhang Fu acupuncture? What other training have they taken?
Mhm.
Is it merely only Palmer chiropractics, or do they do other things?
Mhm.
Do they
work well with other providers?
do they play
That's
well
5.
with children?
5.
Are they socialized properly? Are they housebroken?
Do they have a bedside manner?
These are all good questions. Where are we? Number 5? Speaking
4.
of not being
4.
able to count down from 10.
4.
4.
Do they have good repertoire with the community? Are they helping other people you know?
What are their ratings?
Yep.
Do
Were you
people
referred
say
by
good
a
things
friend?
about them?
Yeah. Do you know who else was treated by them?
If somebody complains about them, does that person's complaint sound like someone who's a professional complainer? There are those people.
Yep.
Number 3. How long have they been practicing? Where did they study?
Mm-hmm.
What do they specialize in? Do they specialize?
Mhm.
Number 2.
Are they going to tell you what they think is wrong with you, or are they just going to give you a diagnosis? Are they going to take time to explain, this is what I'm seeing, try to maybe show you with a model if that's possible, or, some kind of education material, let you know what's going on prior to starting their treatment of what they think is best? Because that's what
How much time are they going to spend with you?
Yeah. Are they
Not
gonna
just
explain
on the
what you
first
got?
visit, but on follow-up visits.
Yep.
You spend an exorbitant amount of time with patients.
Mhm.
When I talk to patients, when I'm referring them to you, I tell them, look, she's going to spend a lot of time with you. Don't figure this will be a 5-minute chiropractic assessment
Mhm.
and treatment, because you'll spend a half hour, 45 minutes every time. It's crazy ridiculous. It's so cool. Number 1, you look the practitioner in the eye and you say, are you literate?
Oh, gosh.
I've actually asked doctors that. They've asked me to leave, but I've asked that of my doctors. You ask them, are you literate? Did you actually read my chart? Did you find the Easter egg I put in there? Ask them, do you read my chart? Do you know what's wrong with me before you came in and asked me, so what are we working on today? Sometimes you got to ask that because they don't fill out the paperwork. And you say,
Mm-hmm. You're trying to help them.
you spent 45 minutes with the paperwork and you didn't fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are we here for? Those would be our top 10s. But it's very important that you find a practitioner that you can work with, one that you enjoy, one that you trust. If you don't have trust, it's probably not going to work very well.
Yeah, you got to be open with them. You got to trust that what you're telling them, that they care and that they're trying to work with you.
And they're not taking themselves too seriously. Humility is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have any questions, call us now at 608-314-8791. Otherwise, we're just about done. We've gone through our questions that were sent to us.
Yeah.
If you have questions that you don't want to call in, you say you're watching this later today or next week sometime or 6 months from now, and we're still doing this, then email us info@silomcenter.com and we'll get those questions answered on the show.
Mm-hmm. And even besides the show, that's what we normally do for our practice too. Consults.
We talk to you. We listen. Oftentimes, I don't get to say too much because the patient's just telling you.
Mhm.
Had a patient, was it this week, Monday, or was it last week? Said, "I'm sorry, I don't want to. I'm exhausted. I don't want to tell you my life story. It's all right there. You tell me what's going on." I mean, poor thing was depressed, lots of pain, exhausted from talking to doctor after doctor after doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really refreshing to her that I'd already read her chart. And then when I was able to take the pulse assessment, say, okay, so this is where your pain is. How long has it been this way? Okay. And it's also been causing some of this situation over here. And you're starting in with a UTI, it looks like. Boy, that was refreshing to her. So find a practitioner that's going to listen to you. People can hear without listening.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone that's a good listener, not a good talker. Those are a dime a dozen. So, cricket, cricket, cricket. So, we're going to be ending a little early today, about 10 minutes early. That should be enough for you to go check on your vermouth that you're putting together downstairs. And
We will be bottling it, and I'll
you-
let you know off
we will
here
be-
where I got it.
we will be bottling it and using it in our lawnmower.
Fire up.
And it's going to go fast.
It's like having jet fuel.
Unless I can get you to have that water come out your schnoz, I'm not going to be happy.
No, it was close before. It was really close before. Not doing that.
So you've just wasted a perfectly good 47 minutes and 58 seconds, 48 minutes. And we thank you for that, because this gives us a chance to blow off some steam,
Yep.
have some fun, interact with you a little bit. Thank you for watching. It does mean a lot that you would waste this amount of time with us. If you have any questions, please get a hold of us, info@Siloam Center, or call 608-314-8791. If you are interested in sponsoring the show, you're nuts. You need some serious help.
We can't offer that kind of help.
Well, actually, we can, because if you can sponsor the show and you're nuts, sure, we can help. If you would like to bribe us to stay off the air, we can talk about that too. So
What you got?
YouTube, here we are.
What you
We're all
got?
ears. Have a great week. Until next week, shalom and be well.
Hi, guys.
It's not working. Oh well.
La 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 la. Ya da da dee.